medicine of the earth. They have so many different health benefits. And we're going to talk about 12 different herbs today, and just kind of what they do for our body. So an herb is either a leaf or a stem, or sometimes the flowers of a plant. And really, you can use them fresh, you can use them dried. There are so many different options. They can spice up our cooking. They also are one of the easiest ways to get some really powerful nutrition with diet. They're full of nutrients and compounds that really can benefit your health. So herbs are the friend of the physician and the pride of the cooks. That's the Charlemagne quote. But really they are. Like if you think about when you go to a restaurant, how there's so many different flavors and foods that you never would have thought to combine at home. And then if you go to a physician, someone who's more functional based, they'll probably give you some herbal supplements, and a lot of times there'll be things that contain some herbs. So they are very powerful. So today we're going to go over, like I said, 12 different herbs, and then I did a little bit of cooking for you guys. So I have a cilantro chutney that you can try if you would like with some crackers. I've also got a ton of fresh herbs over here, some from my garden, some from the store. And I made a lemon lavender mint tea that you guys can try. And the recipes are all going to be in the slides, so I will make sure that they get distributed at the end of this. All right. So our first herb is basil. And basil is one of my favorite herbs. I am Italian, so I use basil a lot in my cooking. But it can help lower blood pressure, it can reduce oxidative stress, helps to fight cancer, reduce high blood sugar. It's really good for diabetics to incorporate into their diet. And it's also high in vitamin K as well as a lot of antioxidants. A lot of these herbs you're going to hear me say are high in vitamin K. Pretty much any green leafy vegetable is high in vitamin K. But there is, if you are on certain medications such as like warfarin or Coumadin, your doctors might tell you to avoid vitamin K because they interact. But when you're talking about herbs in this sense, the amount that you're eating, I don't think anyone's really going out and eating like multiple cups of basil a day. They're probably having like 1 or 2 leaves in reality. So you don't really have to worry about things like that. Anytime you're eating something in your diet, it's not very likely that it's going to interact with medications or affect your health in like a negative way. Actually, before I move on, I will have something here. So, there's one. You can just pass it around. You can smell it. You can feel it. You can taste it. You want to taste the bite of the leaf. That way, you can kind of get that sensation. For me, basil has more of like a sweet, licoricey kind of taste. It goes great with tomato sauce. It goes great with like anything Italian, Mediterranean, all of that kind of dish. But anyway, so moving on to cilantro. Cilantro is the leaves of the coriander plant. So if you've ever used coriander like a spice, cilantro is the herb version of it. But it can be used to reduce heart disease and diabetes. It also contains vitamins A, C, and K, as well as folate, potassium, and manganese. Manganese is a trace mineral that we don't have in a lot of our foods, so it's really good to get it from herbs. And one of the reasons why I love cilantro so much is that it is very powerful as a detoxification herb. It can help remove toxic heavy metals from the body. There is an interesting fact with cilantro is that some people do not like it. They cannot stand the taste. And the reason for that is because there's actually a gene that if you have this gene, cilantro tastes like soap to you. So you'll hear some people be like, oh my gosh, it's so soapy. I cannot eat cilantro. They can't eat anything with cilantro in it. It just totally destroys the flavor, and that's actually genetic. But other than that, cilantro is really used in like a lot of Asian or Mexican or Spanish style foods. And it does have a very fresh flavor. It's like my summer herb. Like that's what I think of is just summer when you think cilantro. And it's really good. You can use it in drinks. You can use it on food. I actually had it along for a margarita once. That was like amazing. But if you love it, you know, it's something that you can add to smoothies. You can add to anything, and it's really powerful for your body. I don't unfortunately have any here today because I made this one for chutney with it, so you can find it at the end. Next is mint. Mint is a powerful healing herb with anti-inflammatory properties. It's really great for stomach aches and any type of like irritable bowel syndrome. You'll hear a lot of people, if they have like stomach upset, their doctor might tell them to take peppermint pills. It's very powerful to help use that. It's also good to improve your brain function. It can even decrease breastfeeding pain when applied topically. So you can actually like put like a paste made from ground mint leaves on your body as a pain reliever. You can add mint to fruit salad. You can add it to smoothies. You can make tea out of it, what I did today, and really just get all the benefits of this herb. If you have yes, I am a big fan of fresh herbs. Dried are just as great. If you do use dried, you're going to use a lot less. They're a lot more powerful when they're dried. And if you're going to use fresh herbs, you're going to be using about 3 times as much as if you were to use dried. I personally like the fresh because I think there's just more oils and things that you don't like health benefits you don't really get from dried. But you only have dried, it's better than doing nothing.
There are so many different types of mint.
Yes, there's a lot of different types of mint.
Anything better than anything else?
I think it's just based on like the flavor that you want. You know, you have like peppermint and spearmint are your 2 main things that you're really going to be like cooking with. But for the most part, you'll see a lot of peppermint and things. Spearmint is a little bit sweeter in my opinion. I like it a little bit better than peppermint, but a lot of times you'll see like for the stomach upset and stuff like that, that's really peppermint being used, especially with like essential oils as well. I don't actually know if it was specified. I didn't read this one. I think it is spearmint. It's not peppermint. I don't know if I had that container. But that one probably is spearmint because it is a little bit sweeter and I made it tea out of it. So that's it for mint. Mint is great. It's really good. Also, I mentioned this. If you are a female and you have any type of like ovarian cyst or any type of issues with testosterone, spearmint tea is a really great way to lower testosterone. So I'm a big fan of making tea out of any type of mint. Great way to get it down. It tastes delicious, and you can consume a lot more from the tea than if you were to just add like a leaf or 2 to a meal. Rosemary. So rosemary is more of a woody, very earthy type of herb. It is full of antioxidants. It has a lot of anti-inflammatory compounds, and it can boost the immune system, improve circulation, and relieve indigestion and arthritis-related pain. It is a very potent anti-inflammatory agent. The other thing that I like about herbs is that I use essential oils a lot, and you'll see a lot of the oils from different herbs being used, and they're very powerful. And all of those oils are in the herb that you have on hand. So you're getting all those benefits when you use them in your cooking, but you can feel it. You can see it's a little bit more woody, a little bit more like thicker, and a little bit less delicate than the other herbs that I passed around. But it's also great for the brain. It can help improve your memory and boost alertness. Rosemary is one of those smells too that just the aroma can actually boost your mood. So smelling it can be very powerful. If you are cooking with rosemary, it makes a beautiful smell in your house. So really good on things like potatoes. It's a very fall herb to me. So I think like Thanksgiving time, fall, like October, that kind of like colder weather, and it's like a warmer herb. But it's really great with like any type of meat. If you're doing like a dry rub or any type poultry or potato. So next we have parsley, again, another one that's high in vitamin K. And if you're familiar with parsley and cilantro, you'll know that they look very, very similar. Around, this was grown from my garden. And parsley is another because very similar to cilantro. It's another one of those herbs that is really great for detoxification. But it also has a compound called myristin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But that is known to have anti-cancer properties. So parsley is one of those really great herbs to add just about everything. It's good in smoothies. It's good if you're a juicer, like a home juicer. It's great to add to juices. And it can help release toxins from the body as well as reduce oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is known to speed up aging, causing wrinkles, causing disease. So anything that we can do to lower that is going to be beneficial. It is a natural diuretic, so it will help to flush out the kidneys. If you are someone who struggles with like detoxification and things like that, you can make a parsley tea or you can do a parsley juice, and that will help to clean out your kidneys. But it does have a very nice, like, fresh taste. It's very light and bright. Next, we have sage. Again, it's a green leafy thing, so it is high in vitamin K. But it does have a lot of antioxidants, and it can help improve cholesterol levels, lower cancer risk, improve your brain function and memory, and it might even be beneficial for menopausal symptoms. It does have antimicrobial properties. I love sage for this reason. What I typically do is dry it, and then I will make like these bundles and burn that, and it's the smoke can actually cleanse the air. It's more of a spiritual practice, and a lot of spiritual teachers will use it to like cleanse the aura and energy, but it does actually clean the air because of the antimicrobial properties. And it's also can be used in oral health. So if you have like a mouthwash, you might see some that are like alcohol free. They might have like a sage component in them, and that will help clean the oral cavity. It can prevent cavities. It can help reduce like any ulcers or anything like that in your mouth or gingivitis. So I'm reduced to stem plaque. I do have some from my garden as well. You can sell it. Sage is one of these herbs that it is a little tricky to cook with. It's very delicate. You don't want to add it anything, while the temperature is really high. You add it at the end. And I think of it as more of like this fall type of sage. Whenever I cook with sage, it's usually like a pumpkin sage type of dish. I've never really made anything besides that with sage. I usually just use it for
Would you tell us how to make a steak?
Yeah, so all you have to do is rotate your stuff, get it from the store. Typically, I will hang it upside down until it's totally dry, and then you usually just wrap it with some type of like non-toxic twine or string, and you'll have a bunch of leaves kind of in a bundle. And then you just light it, and it's put in first in the flames, it'll just kind of smoke. Yeah, and you can wave that around with your air. You can keep it burning in one of your rooms. You can also buy like sage essential oil and diffuse that in your home, and that will help clean the air as well. So next we have oregano. I do have some of this from my garden as well. But oregano is loaded with antioxidants. It's a very potent antimicrobial. It can help fight a ton of different infections. It's really potent against E. coli, which is usually having UTI. That's typically what the microbe is that's causing it. So it's really good and effective for that. It can also help regulate cholesterol levels, improve gut health, and it is a potent anti-inflammatory agent. So it can relieve pain and fight cancer. And it contains carboxyl, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, which is a compound that is believed to aid with weight loss. So very interesting. One of those compounds that they believe that it might help regulate. If you run the talk yesterday, we talked about ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. So it's believed to potentially regulate that, which would decrease your hunger and help you lose weight. I have some here. I'll pass this around. It's a little bit sandy. Oregano is a little bit more pungent of an herb. You can smell it, you can take a little taste if you want. It's not my favorite to eat straight from the leaf, but it is good on a variety of dishes. It's really good in tomato sauce. It's really good with things like a dry rub for any type of meats or any type of like steak seasoning usually has a little bit of oregano in it. There's tons that you can do with it. You'll usually see it dry though when you're cooking with it. Very few recipes will call for fresh oregano. Next, we have thyme, and thyme is a good source of vitamin C. So it also has these antimicrobial properties. A lot of herbs are antimicrobial, and that's why they're so powerful for our immune system, because they can help us fight these bugs that are coming in. It can also improve brain function, reduce your Alzheimer's risk, and even soothe a cough. So I found this interesting this time. If you have a cough, you can make thyme tea, and it will help to soothe your throat and get rid of your cough, which is pretty cool. You can also use thyme and rub it between your hands, and it will act as a natural mosquito and bug repellent. I'll pass them around. But thyme is another one. It's a little bit more earthy, a little bit more woody, similar to rosemary. I do like when you think about like those fall type of scents and flavors. That rosemary thyme is a very good combination together because they are both like a little bit woodier. But the smell is great. Next we have lavender, and lavender I think often gets like overlooked or forgotten about in cooking because it's not one of those herbs that you typically find in like the grocery store. But I did grow some. I used what I had to make the tea, so unfortunately I don't have anymore right now. But it does add a very subtle dynamic to different desserts, teas, sauces, drinks, things like that. If you've ever had like a lavender lemon cake or something like that, it just has this nice subtle little bit of a flowery flavor. And lavender is great because we know, we think about like the essential oil or just lavender in general when you're thinking of like a hand cream or a foot cream, like it's very relaxing. That scent is very sweet. And it actually has those properties when you consume it as well. So it can be really good to help boost your mood. It has a very calming effect on the mind, and it can help regulate sleep. So not that I'm trying to put you all to sleep, but this tea will hopefully have a soothing, calming effect on you as well. And it might even help to soothe menstrual cramps and sensible. When you do brew a tea, you typically want to brew with the like purple petals. But the leaves are also fine as well. They do have some components that you want, and they also have a little bit of flavor. And the other thing about lavender is that it can help improve the skin. It's really good for complexion. I did look into this one research study, which is pretty cool. It found that in 80 new mothers who drank 1 cup of lavender tea per day for 2 weeks, they reported less fatigue, less depression, and overall like general well-being compared to new mothers who did not. And the next we have is chives. Have some. Around. Garden as well. Yeah, so anytime you're looking at something that's going to help your health, it's important, you can't just eat one chive and be like, my immune system is great. You have to really have it like consistently, and it doesn't mean that you only have to have that one thing consistently. Like you just said, a lot of these help boost the immune system because they all have very similar properties. That's like kind of what makes them all herbs and why they're so great for us. So it's not necessarily that you need to have, chives every day or rosemary every day, but trying to incorporate as many herbs into your diet as often as you can is what's going to help you get all those benefits. So chives are rich in vitamin C. They can help boost the immune system, and they're also a good source of vitamin K and folate. As a member of the allium family, which means that's kind of like that, it's like onions and
Purple flower.
yes, yeah, big purple flower. But that allium family is like, if you think of like Brussels sprouts and garlic and onions and all those like sulfur containing vegetables, they all have these anti-cancer properties. They help with detoxification, and chives are within this family. So they can also improve food, sleep, memory, and other brain and nervous system functions. They have a little bit of like a garlicky, oniony kind of taste to them, so they can add a nice flavor to your cooking. And they also contain a very small amount of choline, which choline is another trace mineral that we don't really get a ton of. It's really contained in like egg yolks and chives. But it's really important for our nervous system and for our body and our brains to function properly. So it's a really good thing to try to incorporate into your diet. You don't have too many food sources that contain it. So chives are great in that sense. Next, we have lemon verbena, and this is one of my favorite herbs. I wish I had some, but I couldn't find any in the store and mine died in my garden. But usually I'll make like a tea or something with it because lemon verbena is really goes great with like mint, goes good with lavender, anything like that. And very soothing herb that can be used for digestive disorders, joint pain, and to reduce inflammation. So it is a very potent anti-inflammatory herb, which is why it has all of these benefits. It contains compounds that can regulate sleep. It can also aid with asthma and help relieve colds, fevers, and chills. Well, not chills. And some research has shown that lemon verbena may actually help reduce appetite and aid in weight loss by affecting the hormones that control appetite. So again, it's that same sort of like pathway.
Oregano.
Oregano. Yes. But yeah, so it can help with ghrelin as well, kind of lowering that, reducing your hunger, helping you feel a little bit more satiated. But the big thing with lemon verbena is for the digestive system. So if if you have any type of like digestive issues, whether it's stomach pain, like irritable bowel syndrome stuff like constipation, diarrhea, irregular bowel movements, lemon verbena can be very powerful to help with that. And it tastes great. It's a nice like lemonade refreshing. Next we have dill. And dill is high in antioxidants as well as vitamin A, which makes it really good for the immune system because not too many herbs contain vitamin A. Vitamin A is actually a fat soluble vitamin, but it is very important for the immune system and it can be toxic as a supplement, so it's important that we get it from the diet. It can help regulate our blood sugar and support healthy brain function as well. Dill has been used to treat colic and other digestive disorders. It's also beneficial for reducing menstrual cramps and improving heart health. An interesting thing about dill is typically we think of like dill pickles when we think about dill. But selling the essential oil is thought to help with weight loss. So there is clearly some type of halfway there, but science doesn't know what it is yet, but that potentially affects those hunger hormones. And dill can help treat bad breath. Typically, you'll see it in different recipes with like salmon or like a yogurt-based dip. It's not too often used, I don't think, in most of American cuisine besides the dill pickle, but more Indian, yeah. very powerful herb. And that was our last herb. So, but I do have some recipes. And the first one is the lavender mint iced tea. It's not iced because it's not cool enough sometimes, but it is warm. And you can have it either way. So this is the recipe that I used. If you guys want to pour yourself some, if you would like to try some, you're more than welcome to.
You have to write this down. Or
No,
should we just-
we'll give you the slides. Yeah, don't worry. But I put sweetener of your choice, and I actually brought the sweetener that I used. I used a liquid stevia. So this is just like organic stevia. It's drops. It's like no calorie sweetener. Whenever I'm making something liquid, I like to use the drops because it is liquid. You don't have to dissolve anything. But you can sweeten it as you like. Hopefully you guys like it. And it's kind of like a mix between an iced tea and lemonade. And this next recipe I did not bring for you, but it's one of my favorites, and I think I've had it in a couple of presentations. But it's really delicious, and it incorporates mint. So it uses frozen watermelon and fresh watermelon. And you just add a handful of fresh mint leaves and use a cup of lime, and you put it in the blender. And this is like, if you can think of like the most delicious slushy ever, this is it. And I have to recommend everyone make it at some point. Yeah. And then the last is the spicy cilantro chutney. So I don't believe it's too spicy, but I do have a pretty spicy high spice tolerance. So if you're really sensitive to spice, you might not want to try this one, but if you're here, crackers, feel free to help yourself. But it uses a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of onion, garlic, jalapeno, cilantro, a little tiny bit of sugar, salt, and then lime and lemon juice. And it's super easy. You just throw everything in a food processor, blend it up, and you can serve it. Typically, it's served with like a naan, flatbread. But I have crackers here, and you're more than welcome to try it.
This is a good tea, like if somebody has a sore throat or,
Yeah.
wants a nice little wake up, very good.
Let's see how it could be good cold.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of making, like anytime I do like a tea, like to me that's just summery. I like to put it on ice and add a little bit of like lemon or something like that. Enjoy it that way.
I can taste apple.
It could just be the like lavender. Like sometimes there's different notes of like lavender is a tricky herb to cook with because you don't really
I ignore that.
yeah, a lot of people like doing lavender because
Can you get it anywhere, or is it just you have to grow it yourself?
well, I know there's a big lavender farm on the North Fork. I don't know if they're in farmers markets or not, but I just grow it because it's one of my favorites for a lot of things. But I'm sure if you looked but like hard enough, you'd be able to find it somewhere. And I know a few people out here. I think there's another woman who grows like a significant amount of it. She makes like dry lavender packets for like your top drawer and things like that.
I'm gonna try to look.
It's a powerful herb. Does anyone have any questions? I know we had a lot of questions. Oh yeah, is there any questions for people?
We,
A lot of them have vitamin K. Can you overdo it if you use it?
So with vitamin K, it's really we don't get a lot of it in our diet, to be honest. So you're not really going to overdo it with like food. It's more of just if you are on like a medication where your doctor tells you have to be careful with how much vitamin K you're eating. And it's not usually what the doctor will say is if you're someone who eats spinach every single day, spinach is high in vitamin K. They're going to tell you continue to eat spinach every single day, and we're going to adjust your medication based on that. Whereas if you're someone who doesn't eat a ton of spinach, they're going to tell you, okay, don't sit down and have a giant spinach salad and have like cream spinach and have cream spinach and have all these things in one day. It's going to throw off your medication. But as long as you're eating it consistently, then you're fine. And if you're not on medication, then you don't have to worry about it at all.
You eat right, you take less medication.
Yep. Yeah, if you're on like if you're on a blood thinning medication, then yes, like they would want you to kind of, like what I was talking about, it's like consistent eating, but not just having, you know, spinach, arugula, whatever other greens. But yeah, you just, with anything with nutrition, you want to have variety. You know, you can eat the healthiest salad, but if that's all you're eating every single day, 3 times a day, you're probably going to be missing a lot of other nutrients like fat or protein. So like you just always want to have a good variety.
The arugula do, like,
Arugula is just a powerful, it's a lettuce, but it's just powerful. It's really high in antioxidants. It has that like kind of spicier flavor, so it's nice to use in salads when you want a little bit of a kick. But it is high in vitamin K, it's high in a lot of other vitamins and vitamin C as well. It's just another great food to eat, one of my favorites.
You can do all sorts of things with arugula. You could throw it in a salad with, I mean, we've had, my wife's, she's put blueberries in there, and she's put all sorts of fruits and mixed some strawberries.
Other than a salad, what would you say?
Oh, we put it on, if she's made like, well, yeah, on pizza, but she's done different like chicken and veal Milanese and has thrown arugula on there with balsamic vinegar. Maybe wrapped a piece of prosciutto around there, and that's not the best thing, the prosciutto, but once in a while, you know. But
Did she put it on after she cooked it?
she throws it on afterwards, yes.
Then just get the flavor of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, you know, so I do have an herb garden and I grow many of these stuff. Not everyone, but and I basically chop them up and put them in salad, right?
That's great.
Or I, you know, like you said, the fall herb, the turkey and tea. What else can you do with it?
So you can, if you want to save them, so you have fresh herbs year round, you can freeze a bunch. That's really great. You can also do things like pesto or like the chutney that I made. You can use any herb you want. Like you can make a mint one. You can make cilantro. You can make like a bruschetta with basil. So adding a little bit of tomato, a ton of basil, salt, pepper, lemon juice. That's like a very simple bruschetta. Really delicious. It's really just about getting creative. Sometimes, I don't know if you have like a Pinterest or even just like looking at Google, you can literally type in like recipes for oregano or recipes for whatever herb you want to use and just see what comes up, because I'm a terrible recipe follower. I really have a hard time doing that because I just like to throw things together. But the possibilities are endless with herbs. You can put them on, like if you're cooking something, like say you're cooking jam, you can make a marinade with fresh herbs. You can make a dry rub with your herbs first.
So that's like important to, like for example, like with rosemary, dry it first before you would.
It depends. It depends what you're going for. Like usually, if I'm making like potatoes, I don't personally eat a lot of meat. I only really eat seafood, so I'm not the best person to ask about dry rubs. But like if I'm making potatoes, I'll use fresh. Yep, just chop it up and sprinkle it on top, and then cook it. I'll even throw another good way to get all the benefits of herbs is to make like a stock or a broth, and I'll throw in like a ton of like parsley, rosemary. Yeah. Yeah, and then you can throw in like onion, carrot, celery, and just get all those flavors, and it's so healing. Yeah.
The leftover garden.
Yep, exactly. Leftover garden, throw it in the pot.
That's a really great idea.
Yeah. And you can use that broth, you can like freeze it, so that yeah.
If you want like a little bit of pasta product, you put in orzo or ditalini or one of the
Yep.
little tiny little noodles.
Yeah.
The broths are great to use.
That's a great idea to do a single.
Well, we don't have any questions from the folks at home. But I'd like to thank everybody for coming and the people at home. And for people in house, if you'd like to help yourself to another nice drink, some crackers, help yourself. And we'll be back again with another presentation very soon.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.